This week's episode of I Was a Teenage Film Snob is not brought to you by Movie Time Popcorn. Welcome to I Was a Teenage Film Snob. I'm James Chalmers, and I really was a teenage film snob. You know, it's been 10 episodes, and I'm starting to think I need a new intro, but I'll figure that one out later. As I mentioned, it has been 10 episodes, so we're shaking things up a little bit this week. We're not doing a list of top 5 favourite films. We're going a bit of a different direction. Don't worry, if you like the format, it's back to normal next week. But for episode 10, I want to try something a little bit different. And today's guest is the most requested return guest I've had since the show started. So here she is. You've been waiting for her. She's back.
Drum roll, please.
My wife, Tina, returns to the show. Welcome back, Tina.
Hi. Am I really the most requested one?
You really are.
Oh, well, I feel privileged. Thank you, everybody.
I won't give out the number of people who requested.
One.
But no, I've had a couple of people like, oh, you know, like you've had Nick and Josh on multiple times. When's Tina coming back? So
yeah. I was thinking for your intro, you could be like, my name's James Chalmers, and when I was a teenager, I thought that blah, 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 blah. And you can put in some pretentious teenage thing, and then you can be like, yes, I was a teenage film snob. I thought Citizen Kane was the height of all movies.
Well, I admitted this in next week's episode. Here's a little bit of future telling for you. I mentioned that it's one of those films that's been on my watch list. I still haven't watched Citizen Kane. But, well, my original plan for the intro was going to be like, I'm James Chalmers, like kind of like AA, and you know, and I was.
Oh, yeah.
But I decided not to go down that dark route and instead go with a little bit sillier. I don't know. It is what it is. People, no one's complained about it, so therefore it's working. Great. Well, as I said, welcome back. We are talking about movies this week, but just going a bit of different paths. So try something different. The idea for today's episode actually stems from something we came up with a few years ago on Pass the Remote, which we never did. And that's so we're going to steal the idea of another podcast.
Yeah, we need the theme music.
James A. Caster hates that music.
Yeah, he does.
So what we're doing is we're paying homage to a podcast that Tina and I are huge fans of, a show called Off Menu.
A lot of people, very, very popular podcast.
Very popular podcast, fantastic podcast.
Often number one.
Featuring two of our favourite British comedians, James A. Caster and Ed Gamble. Where they sit around and talk to guests about their favourite ever starter, entree, main course, side dish,
drink,
dessert. Yeah. Not in that order. And we thought, and this is a couple of years ago, we're like, oh, why don't we do that but with movies? We'll try and find out, like, we'll come up with a menu based on movies that we've seen and try and come up with, like, a delicious meal.
Yeah, so, like, you know, if you've watched a movie and the characters have eaten some, you go, oh my God, I wish I could eat that in real life. That looks so good. Or, like, maybe movie food that's stuck with you for a really long time.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was the idea. We always wanted to do it, and then, obviously, COVID happened, and we had a baby and all sorts of things.
And we just forget about things as well.
And it's interesting. This is actually going to be, like, we haven't been out for dinner since, like, about 3 years. So this is the closest we've got. So we really took our time building our lists up. So, yeah, I just wanted to pay homage to them first and just shout them out. Like, we are stealing a concept, but if you haven't listened to Off Menu, go and listen to it. It's well worth your time. A lot of fun. And then the next time Tina's on, we will actually go through her 5 favourite films, because we haven't done that yet.
Oh, yes.
And same with Nico, when I messaged him recently, I said, hey, we've got to do your 5 favourite films. So they're coming, but this week we're going to talk about food. So there's no, we don't have any of those sound effects or anything that they do in the show. But what we'll do is we'll go through it one by one through our menu, and we'll talk probably a little bit about the movie, I imagine, as well, where it comes from and what it means to us, because I don't think we're just grabbing from random movies, but we might be, I don't know, I haven't seen your list. So I guess we'll get started. Tina, what is... Well, the first question is always still or sparkling water. Now, I couldn't think of a movie where there was...
No, I don't think there's really a movie, but I will just say, I will preface with, I will go with still water, please. Thank you very much. Sparkling water. I do like sparkling water. My problem is, though, is that I can't burp, so I have sparkling water and then I feel sick, or fizzy drinks and then I feel sick. So I will go with a nice glass of cold tap, still water, maybe with some slices of lemon in it.
And you mentioned that you can't burp. That's been a bit of a phenomenon throughout your life, because the amount of people...
I've never been able to burp my entire life.
And when you tell people, they're like, yeah, right. Like,
yeah, they don't believe me. They don't believe me. And they're like, what do you mean you can't burp? Just do this. And I go, yeah, it doesn't, nothing happens. I think I've burped in my entire life probably no more than 10 times.
Yeah,
and they're not burps. They're literally like, it'll come up like a...
Yeah, like a
little
accidental.
Like a little, I go, oh my God, I burped. I did it.
It becomes a talking point in the
it
house.
Does.
I think in the 15 years that we've been together, I've heard you burp maybe 5 times.
Yeah.
Whereas I, on the other hand, can't stop me.
Oh, I wish I could. It's so uncomfortable when you can't. It's so, like, you just feel bloated, you feel sick, and then it ruins your meal, you know, because then you're just all gassy and, like, it's horrible. So I'm going to go with a nice big glass of still tap water that's cold, and the glass keeps refilling itself so I don't have to go to the fridge and get more.
Lovely. Well, for my water, I'm going to go sparkling because I can burp. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to drink what I drink every day, which is a glass of sparkling water with a dash of lemon juice from a bottle, not a lemon.
Yeah.
Because I don't really drink soft drink that much anymore. I mean, I guess over the last year or so, I've drunk more soft drink than I would normally, but we've been in lockdown and stuff, so we've been getting, fancy cordials and San Pellegrinos and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Don't we sound rich and fancy? San Pellegrino.
Oh, I do like it. Although I learned tonight that I have to stop because it gives me the hiccups now, which never used to happen. But yes, I'll go with sparkling water with lemon juice.
Oh, there you go. Lovely.
From a bottle, not from a lemon, because I'm a freak. Okay, with that out of the way, that's the only thing that's not really movie related. We can jump into the first course.
Yep.
Which is poppadoms or bread. So the way we're doing is exactly how Off Menu does it, but I'm not shouting at you.
Because our baby's sleeping in the other room.
That's true. I couldn't think of a single movie where poppadoms showed up. But I'll let you go first, Tina. Poppadoms or bread?
I'm going to choose bread, even though I thought of Bend It Like Beckham has poppadoms.
That's true,
and they cook them fresh on the stovetop.
And they do look good, actually.
Yeah. So that's going to be one of my honourable mentions. But I do bread because I just think bread is a bit more versatile. You can have different types of bread. I really struggled with this because in my mind, there are plenty of movies where you have that iconic, they have a big crusty loaf and they rip it in half and the steam comes up. But you know that imagery. You can't find it anywhere. You can't Google scene from a movie where steam is coming from bread. Like, that doesn't come up with anything. So I just couldn't think. So I then thought of two. One of them is my honourable mention.
Yes.
And that is the bread and butter butterflies from Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, okay, of course.
Yeah, because I was like, I remember that from when I was a kid. And the butter is pre-done on the bread, and the whimsicalness of them being butterflies and flying around, and that bread looks like, it's Disney animated. So it's thick and it's fluffy and it's soft, and you know that when you were going to bite it, it just like that. The reason it's an honourable mention and not my actual thing is because I feel like they would just fly away. Yeah. And I can't get them to eat them.
Yep, good point.
So, my actual bread of choice, I'm cheating a little bit. It's from a TV show. It's not from a movie.
That's
but,
okay.
Come on.
No,
it's so hard.
Yep.
This was definitely the hardest one. So, my choice is, there's a scene in The Simpsons when Marge goes, a bread maker, and there's a bread maker on the bench, and she presses a button and it shoots out another mini version of a bread maker, and then that shoots out a mini loaf of bread. So I'm going to go with that loaf of bread that the bread maker makes, because I feel like it's small enough that it's not going to fill me up. It's just come out of a bread maker, so it's nice and hot, and it's technically nice one. Now,
I remember the joke, but I don't remember the bread per se. Is it like a crusty loaf? Is it just like a square block loaf?
It's like a square block loaf, but it's got a dark crust to it.
Okay.
I hope that it's not a thick crust because I do not like crusts. Unless it's like a crusty loaf. I don't want my normal bread having a thick crust.
Okay, yeah. No, I hear, absolutely. If it's like a Baker's Delight loaf, I don't need a thick crust. But if it's like a panna di casa...
Yeah, that's right. But the steam coming off it was animated really nicely, and it's just a funny joke as well.
Nice one. So my bread, I'm also not going poppadoms because I can only think of Bender like Beckham, and even though it did look good, I agree, bread's way more versatile. And as they say in off menu, a bread course is just an excuse to eat butter. And that's really how I feel about it. Butter is one of my favorite foods. It just goes so well with bread. I think for all of our food answers today, we could have gone with anything in Disney. Disney tends to animate food very well. I have gone for a Disney film, but I've gone for live action.
Oh, okay.
And I'm choosing the bread that's on sale at the stall in the 2017 remake of Beauty and the Beast.
I was going to choose that as well! Yeah. But I couldn't remember it.
Yeah, so it's during the bell sequence.
The opening scene. Yeah,
and there's a bit where she walks past and like, give me any loaf off that.
Yeah,
all the bread looks great. It's all like
I can't believe how excited that made me.
It all looks very like artisanal.
Yeah,
and, like,
that's right.
Floured topped with like broken crusts. Looks very hearty. Now it's it's back in like the 19th century or something. So chances are the only way to heat it up is by fire. But, I'll just transport it into the modern times so I can whack it in my oven.
They would have had bread ovens.
Yeah, but I don't think they're using those to reheat bread. I don't think they're using it for a modern convenience the way we would, where we could just whack it in a toaster or something. I think once it's cooked, it's like you just have it cold. Like if you buy it at the end of the day...
Well, you can toast bread on like a skillet over the fire.
That's probably true, actually.
Yeah. I think that's how they used to do it.
See, we're venturing out of movie territory. People are going to learn what an idiot I am.
No.
I'm like, oh, they didn't have toasters, so they just all had cold bread.
Before electricity existed, so there were no toasters.
Like, what they did is just hold it above their heads at the sun for 4 hours until it got golden brown. Looks really yummy. Now, as far as that movie goes, I'm not the world's biggest fan of the Disney remakes. Because I feel like they're just kind of cheap imitations of the original animated films. I have to talk about movies a little bit in the show. Yeah. But I did quite like a lot of the elements of Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Although I do think Dan Stevens is far too handsome, I was like, just leave him as a beast. Like, and he didn't have a very good beast voice for me. He sounded very well spoken for someone who's meant to be like all these different monsters.
Yeah.
But that bread scene, great. And also, I've expressed many times my opinion on Chip.
Oh God, he's just the worst.
Very annoying.
Oh, he's so bad.
But I think a loaf of bread from that store with some warmed butter, like just it's been let to sit so it gets softened, that would be quite lovely for my bread course.
I think that would be very lovely.
Excellent. So, what is your entree, Tina, and what movie is it from? Yeah, your starter. Sorry.
Yes. No. Well, that's what we don't really call them. We call them entrees. We don't call them starters. Anything off the trolley? Anything off the trolley? Because starter's hard because you want to pick a meal that's small. Almost like a tapas or something like that. You don't want to have like a huge meal and then have your mains and have a huge meal.
Well, I think the rules of the Dream Restaurant, at least in off menu, is that you never get full.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. You never get full if you want it to be that case. It's whatever case you sort of want it to be. But I figured that if I used the trolley off the train, off the Hogwarts Express, then I could pick and choose exactly what I wanted for my starter. If I wanted something sweet, I could have cauldron cakes. I could have licorice ones. If I wanted something a bit more savoury, I could have pumpkin pasties. So I thought that would be a nice little thing. Also, I get to be on the Hogwarts Express, so I get to channel through the channel.
I prefer sack lunch.
So I get to travel through the Scottish Highlands, and I get to maybe eat. I get to eat some nice British cuisine. So yeah, no, I'm gonna choose the trolley from Harry Potter and specifically Philosopher's Stone.
Okay.
Yes, because it doesn't really make an appearance in any of the movies later on.
That's a good point. You don't want Ron squashed corned beef sandwiches?
Oh, no. Definitely not. Even though it looks really nice to squish, the way that they wrapped it, the way that they twisted the sandwich and then cling wrapped it, looks really nice to squish. Actually, if memory serves me correctly, I'm pretty sure there's an extended scene with the trolley witch as well in Philosopher's Stone, just to take it back to movies for a second. I think there is like a deleted scene where there's like more stuff on the trolleys and you get to see it and everything.
Okay.
So it would definitely, if you really want to know like what's on that trolley, I would look up that deleted scene because it's got a really good shot. Because I mean, it's like food porn.
Yeah.
The whole idea is like, Harry's been starved for such a long time. The first time he's got money, he can buy himself some food. All this glorious food that's there.
So your answer is, I guess, like a platter from the trolley. You have
Yeah, the trolley I'm sitting in the train. Anything off the trolley gets called out.
Yes.
I open the door. I buy what I want.
Okay.
And then if I'm still hungry, she just keeps coming back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Nice one.
What about you? What's your starter?
My starter, and it'll have to be a small portion or maybe just a couple of slices, not the whole thing, but it's my very own cheese pizza, just for me, from Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
Oh, that's good.
When he jumps in the limo and there's a big cheese pizza there.
Yes, absolutely.
I was trying to think about it, and I know I've just had an entire crusty loaf of bread, and now I'm going to have an entire cheese pizza. But I was thinking about it, and I was trying to decide which looks better, that or the pizza from Ninja Turtles.
Oh, okay.
And they both look pretty good, but I'm not a salami fan, and Ninja Turtle pizza has salami on it, whereas Kevin's one is just like a cheese and garlic pizza. The cheese is all melty and gooey. It's a New York style pizza, which I guess the Turtles one is as well, technically. So I was like, it's got to be... That's probably the best entree I could think of. I was trying to think of a few different starters and stuff, and that's where I kind of landed. Home Alone 2, Lost in New York is also my favourite of the Home Alone films.
Yep.
Even though it's basically a remake of the first one, I just think the jokes are better in the second one. The exception being the Bird Woman. I'm not a huge fan of the Bird Woman.
Yeah.
I prefer the old man with the shovel from the first one. I really enjoyed that film, even with the unfortunate cameo from Donald Trump. I do like that it's one of Rob Schneider's first appearances. And it has that great joke where he's listening to the old-timey gangster movie, and he's like, "You've been smooching with everyone."
Yeah.
And like all the people, all the like hotel workers are lined up.
Yeah.
And it's like Legs, Cliff, and it's like
Yeah.
Home Alone, actually, that particular film has a lot of good food moments. Because he also has like the sundae at a certain point.
Oh yeah.
Which I did think about for my dessert. Spoiler alert: it's not my dessert choice. But it was very, very close to being it. But no, that cheese pizza I think is great. And Home Alone 2 is a great movie, so everyone should watch it.
Can I just correct myself for a second?
Yes.
The trolley lady does make an appearance in Goblet of Fire as well. It's just that I've seen Goblet of
It's
Fire
the one that
it's
the least enjoyable of the
infrequently.
films.
Yeah.
Alright, so then we're blazing through this menu. What is your main and where's it from?
Okay, so this is where it's a bit of a disappointment.
Okay.
Because it's Harry Potter again. But this is the last Harry Potter.
Okay.
There's no more Harry Potter after this.
Sure.
And I know what you're going to say. But it's the Halloween feast from Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
We're using magic?
Are we using magic?
Yeah, it feels like using magic for every course.
Yeah, I know, right?
I like deliberately avoided like the chewing gum from Willy Wonka and stuff.
Yeah.
So you just okay, go on.
I'm sorry.
No, you don't apologize.
It's just what, the movies that I'm like exposed to and stuff. But I'm picking Halloween Feast over all the other feasts.
Okay.
Because there's like this long shot that they do. So obviously we got the start of term feast, yeah. And that's the one where Harry's like all amazed by the food and it's appearing on the plates and you have the shot of Ron eating 2 chicken drumsticks
and
with
the big bowl of corn.
Yeah, that's right. And then you've also got Christmas as well. But the Halloween feast one specifically, like there's this beautiful shot that Christopher Columbus does, or, whoever the director of photography is for Philosopher's Stone. And it, sweeps down the Gryffindor table.
Mm-hmm.
And this is before, Quirrell comes in. And it just has this beautiful, long shot of the food. And it's just amazing. Yep. It looks so good. Everything just looks so tasty. And there's, just big piles of, I'd have one of everything. I would have absolutely one of everything. I'm trying to actually remember what the food is on the table.
And so you're specifically saying this is the Philosopher's Stone feast, not...
Yes.
Yep.
So we're not looking at Chamber of Secrets or anything like that, or any of the other ones. Here we go. There's, carrot cakes with little, iced carrots on top. And there's, lollipops. I mean, there's a bowl of apples. Who cares? I'm not going for the apples.
So far you've only named desserts. What's your main?
Yeah, but, I'm sure there's, main food on there as well, But I'm allowed to eat. I'm an adult now. I can eat cake for every meal if I want to.
Sure. No, that's okay. I just thought you might have a bit more of an idea of what you're going to eat for a main.
Well, I suppose I would probably have, some sort of roast. With, some a nice British roast, I would say.
Like the one we had when we went to Hogwarts? So we went to Alnwick Castle on our honeymoon.
Yeah, and they had the Yorkshire pudding bowl and all that sort of stuff. Yes, absolutely. And, you got your roast. So they had a plate, and it was a massive Yorkshire pudding that had been done as, the size of the dinner plate, basically. Mm-hmm. And inside it had the roast meats, the gravy, the peas, the corn, all the other stuff like that. So basically you eat all your food, and then you eat your plate of Yorkshire pudding. That was amazing. Yeah, so that was on the set. That was on Alnwick Castle, which, fun fact, to bring it back to movies again, what was the Tom Cruise movie that they filmed there? And they had all those daffodils. There was, this whole field of daffodils.
Was it a Mission Impossible movie?
It must have been a Mission Impossible movie. I'll have to do the research. But there's this huge field of daffodils on the hill. And what they had to do was, the director didn't want to damage the actual daffodils that were there. And so they took out all of the daffodils. It was 3,000, 5,000 bulbs of daffodils. And they planted, silk daffodils.
Yes, I remember them saying that, yeah.
And they put them all into the grass so that when Tom Cruise lands and, rolls through that field of daffodils, he doesn't actually damage any of the daffodils.
Okay.
Because they're all fake.
Yep.
So that's a fun little movie trivia fact.
Nice one. There you go.
So what is your main?
So I think main was what I struggled with the most. Because I was trying to think about it, and I should point out, and I'm sure you would agree, this isn't my dream meal if I got to choose what I was having. If I was on the off-menu podcast and I wasn't just basing it on films, this is very different to what I would do in that situation. I just pick and choose my favourite foods, which don't appear in movies.
Yeah.
But we really set ourselves quite a challenge. You busted me the other day, I don't know if you noticed, but I was Googling, food from movies because I was struggling to fill out my menu.
It's very tricky.
So I first thought about the Hogwarts feast as well. I think that's an obvious one. I also thought about the feast from Thor: The Dark World because there's a moment when they return from battling, they end up liberating a planet or whatever, and they come back and they're having a feast in Valhalla and stuff like that. I was like, that looks pretty good, but that felt like a bit of a cheat to just write feast.
Yeah.
So I had a bit more of a think, and I still went with a Marvel film. And it was only meant to be a joke in the film, but they went back and filmed a scene, and it's
I think I know.
shawarma from the Avengers.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Which is basically just a big kebab.
Yeah.
And we had shawarma when we were in LA, and it was delicious. The bread, it's not like that flat bread, which is very kind of stiff and breakable. It's light and fluffy. It's almost kind of like Turkish bread, fried off and rolled. And then lamb or beef right off the spit. I think we had lamb. Smoked and charred and covered in lemon juice and spices and stuff like that and herbs. Really, really yummy. So even though it's a very brief scene after the credits
Yeah.
in an Avengers film, when I thought about main courses, that seemed to be the one that really jumped to me. And I was like, oh, I would have that any day of the week. Like, that'd be great. And I know I don't need to go on too much about the Avengers, but what a great film. What a great film. I was thinking about it. I've been rewatching all the MCU films recently. I'm about to start Endgame, so that's how far into it I am now. And when I rewatched Avengers, first of all, it's been 10 years since that movie came out. Like, that first one.
Really?
This year's the 10th anniversary. In fact...
That does not feel like it.
We're probably just past it, 'cause I think it came out in, like, around April of 2012. So we probably just passed the 10-year anniversary of it. And I remember, like, thinking... Like, if you think about, like, all the expectations we have for these movies now, like, when Endgame came out, we're like, who's going to appear in this movie? Like, Doctor Strange is about to come out. Who's going to be the cameo? Like... We're now programmed that way. But when that first Avengers film came out, I remember being like, wait, so two characters from two different movies is going to be in a movie together?
Yeah.
Like, we were so
that's right.
not used to it. Like, it just sounded weird. Like, that doesn't make... Wait,
like
what?
They're teaming up? Why are they teaming up?
Because I wasn't a huge comic book guy there at that point either. So I was like, I don't know. Like, it was breaking my brain. I was like, wait, but the 4 different people from different movies are all going to be in the same movie.
And now it's like multiverse and there's like different Spider-Men.
It's like, oh, yeah, exactly. Like, we're at that point where, like, you know, Patrick Stewart's back as Professor X. Like, he wasn't... Not only was he, like, not in an MCU... Like, in any of the MCU films, he wasn't even in, like, that studio. Like... But that film is just... And I remember... I associate that film with food a lot as well, because I remember... When we went and saw it the first time, we went and saw it out in Glen Waverley. We went to Bob's Kitchen, which is a little Chinese restaurant near where you used to live. And we had... I don't know what you had, but I had Shanghai crispy style duck. And I want to say I had Szechuan chicken wings, but I may not have. And then we went to the movie, and the next day you're like, do you want to see Avengers again? And we went back to Bob's Kitchen. We ordered exactly the same meal.
That's right.
And went to the exact same movie and had the exact same experience. And it was that point I was like, you know what? People always say you can't recreate, like, moments. So that I'm like, no, you can. Like, we did it 2 days in a row. Same movie, same meal. So even
I think that says a lot about our relationship as well. Where we're like, we had such a good time just eating food and watching a movie. Let's just do the exact same thing again. And we're not the kind of people like, no, like, we need to be out hiking mountains. Or, no, we need to, like, every moment has to be spontaneous. We'll literally sit there and be like, you want to get Bob's Kitchen and watch Avengers? Yes? Okay.
Well, those are my 2 favourite things. Like, eating food and watching movies. And that's kind of, like, the 2 things we do the most. Pardon me. So, long story short, the shawarma from Avengers would be my main.
Nice.
So now we're still on main, but we go to a side dish. So what would be your dream side dish from any movie that you
I'll talk about my honourable mention first. All right? So this is something that I have wanted to eat for so long.
Yep.
But you can't eat this.
Okay.
That's why it's an honourable mention.
You can't eat cats, Kevin.
You can't eat cats, Kevin. That's why it's an honourable mention. Like, if you ate this, you would die. But I've wanted to eat it for so long. Ever since I was a little girl, I saw this and I was like, that's amazing. That is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And it is from The Simpsons. Again, another reason why it's an honourable mention, not the actual side. And it's Homer's Moon Waffles. Like, so if you're not aware of what Homer's Moon Waffles are, I think I've got the recipe correct. You get a waffle maker. You put in caramels into the waffle maker. You add waffle mix. Then you add liquid smoke. You cook the waffle. You get a whole stick of butter. You wrap the waffle around the stick of butter. You pierce it on a toothpick and you eat it. And I remember seeing that going, I want that. I want to eat that. But you can't eat a whole stick of butter. You could probably eat the waffle and, like, spread some butter on it.
Maybe take the liquid smoke out just to be...
Yeah, I don't know why you would want to include that. Make it taste all smoky. Maybe it goes... Yeah, I don't know how that would work. Smoky caramel. But, like, seriously, it looks like trash. And it looks... Yeah, where it's...
There's the batter off the edge.
Yeah.
I just realised it's not a visual medium, but I'm doing visual jokes.
And, like, it just... That has stuck with me for such a long time. But that's not what my side dish is. My side dish is also something that has stuck with me from a really, really, really long time. And it's just the way, again, it's an animated one, so it's the way that it's been animated. It just looks delicious. And so it is when Mulan has woken up. It's her first day in the army. Mushu has made her breakfast. So it's a bowl of porridge. But it's got 2 fried eggs as the eyes and a strip of bacon as the mouth. And he's like, and your breakfast is happy to see you. And it just, the way, like, it sloshes in the bowl, I really like the way that they've made it move around. I'm not sure if it's porridge or if it's rice. Because, like, it kind of, the way that it moves is with rice. It looks like it's sort of ricey. So maybe it's like a ricey pudding type thing. I feel like it's probably more like that rather than oats. But it's just... It just looks delicious. And I've always wanted that. Ever since I was younger. I'm like, I want to eat that. I want to eat that food. So that's
I'm getting a subtle hint for Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Also, just to confirm, your side dish is an entire breakfast.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I couldn't think of anything smaller because it's a side.
I couldn't think of anything smaller than an entire breakfast.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yep, so that's my side dish.
It does look yummy, though.
It does. And she eats it with the chopsticks, and the way it sort of, like, clumps together looks really good. And then he, like, shoves it in her mouth. So she's got these really big cheeks, and it just dribbles down. And yep, it's really good.
So my side dish, I keep saying that I struggle with a lot of things on this menu. Like, and the side was one as well, because I'm like, I just don't know, like... I can't think of anything.
I will interrupt for a second. That is the one that I did not struggle with.
Yeah.
I was like, hands down, I'm getting that mushu porridge.
Yeah. Nice one. So I went with French fries, because I do love...
Oh, okay.
I do love French fries, they're the ultimate side. Specifically, I got the French fries from Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
Ah, so I've never seen this.
So I had to think about it, and I'm not 100% sure that they even eat fries in the movie. But they're in the movie because White Castle's a real restaurant.
Yeah.
But first of all, the most delicious fries you'll ever see. They're like big, fat, crinkle cut chips, golden, like lightly salted. And like,
are we talking crinkle cut circle or crinkle cut stick?
Crinkle cut stick.
Good.
Yeah. Not waffle fries or like discs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've never had a crinkle cut disc, but I give it a go.
I think I've
I've had it, and no, you don't want it.
No, it's fine.
Yeah. Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle is a really fun movie.
So, tell me the premise, because I haven't seen it. Can I tell you what my thought of it is before you tell me what it actually is?
Yes.
Isn't it about 2 guys who are high and they want to eat White Castle, so then they go to White Castle?
Yes.
But it's all the shit that happens to them on their way to White Castle?
Pretty much.
Oh, okay, so I was right.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a road trip movie. Like, for what should be, a 5-minute drive.
Yeah.
Spans an hour and a half or like an entire night. But what's really fascinating what's really wonderful about it is it is like a stoner comedy, but it's 2 unlikely leads. Like, especially for the time it was made, which is like 2003, 2004, maybe a little bit later. Like, that would have normally been like 2 white guys.
Yeah.
Like, let's get Stifler and, I don't know, like Paul Rudd or something.
Yeah, yeah.
But instead they went with Cal Penn and Harold Cho. I think it's Harold Cho. No, Harold's the cat. No. Harold is the name of the character. Oh my goodness, I'm having a...
I'll look it up and you
I'm
keep
blanking.
telling me about it.
But I like that they didn't just go with like the generic, like, hey, it's 2 white guys. They brought some ethnic diversity to it. Is it Howard Cho, maybe? I'm going to sound like an absolute idiot.
John Cho.
I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't think of the most common name in the world. John Cho and Cal Penn. I got Cal Penn right, so I'm happy with that. And yeah, like it's just a teen movie, just like a stoner, like a teen stoner movie, like 2 guys just trying to get food or whatever. But it's really fun. It was the first time I'd really seen Neil Patrick Harris, even prior to How I Met Your Mother, because I wasn't, old enough to watch Doogie Howser when it was on TV and stuff like that. And he just plays himself.
Was Doogie Howser ever actually on Australian TV?
I would imagine so.
Oh, okay. Because I'd never heard of it until you mentioned it years into our relationship.
Yeah. but yeah, like again, like just like a silly comedy, but it is really fun, and those fries look really good. I haven't seen it in a long time, which is why I'm blanking on some of the details. But like, you know, if you're gonna look at, I feel like in terms of consequences set in a film, it's not so bad. Like, I think if you rewatch American Pie today, like, it's not so friendly to women. Like, it's pretty gross.
Yeah, that's right.
Like Road Trip as well is another one which I loved as a teenager, and I watched that now. I'm like, oof! Like our hero cheated on his girlfriend, and he's just trying to stop her from seeing the video he filmed of him cheating. Like a lot of them are very problematic.
Oh.
Whereas Harold and Kumar, I haven't seen in a while, so I could be wrong, but I don't think it's as problematic. I think it's actually like pretty, like it's pretty okay. I think it would probably stand the test of time. If people are listening to this and they disagree, let me know, and I will omit it from my watch list.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it, and as I said, like in terms of the food, those crinkle cut fries from White Castle look really good.
Nice. All right, so my drink. Now,
your drink.
You're gonna be disappointed in me again.
It's pumpkin juice.
It's not pumpkin juice. My honorable mention is butterbeer.
Yep.
And I should also say pumpkin juice as well. Because I've had the pumpkin juice at Universal Studios, and my God, that is an amazing drink.
Yeah.
It is so good. Like, I cannot express how much of a nice drink it is. And I have no idea what the flavors are. I know there's apple juice in there somewhere. It doesn't taste like pumpkin.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that's always sort of baffled me is like, that's their go-to juice, pumpkin. Like, that's not nice.
In terms of Harry Potter.
In terms of the Harry Potter
Well, I think
world.
that it's like it's spooky.
Yeah, I know,
like...
but like, who then goes, oh, let's continue drinking this?
Yeah.
So, my honourable mention is butterbeer. I would say that the butterbeer from Universal Studios, if you were to go, is fine. The frozen butterbeer is actually better than the normal butterbeer. Homemade butterbeer is the best.
Yeah, we've had a few different versions. The homemade one, not the one where you melt the butterscotches, the one with the apple.
That's the one that I liked better.
I think I like the apple cider vinegar one the best.
No, see, I didn't like that one as much.
Okay.
There we go.
And then also there's, I don't know what the name of the brand is, but when we were in the States, there's like one, you just went to a
get it here.
Yeah, we went to a 7-Eleven, and it's not called butterbeer because
it's like butterscotch drink.
It's called like it's called like butterscotch beer or something.
Yeah, and it's got like cauldrons. You'll recognize it.
But that one's delicious.
Yeah, that one's really nice. But to me, butterbeer, because when it's not really explained in Harry Potter as to what it is. So my idea of butterbeer is not soft drink.
No.
My idea of butterbeer is like creamy. That's why I thought the Werther's original melted caramels one was better. Like, it's never, that's one of the things that J.K. Rowling never really actually explains. She says, you know, it warms his insides and stuff.
I always
like that.
thought of
so
it like
is it supposed to be like
a mulled cider? That's kind of what I thought it was.
Is it supposed to be like a beer type thing?
Well,
like
there's also the line in Goblet of Fire where they say 'tis strong for a house elf.
Yeah, that's right. And like, yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think it's alcoholic. Although, like,
it might.
The UK's view on underage drinking is a bit different to ours.
I think it might have a little bit of alcoholicness to it in order to do that warming sort of effect, and also like.
Couldn't just be magic.
You had to be. I feel like you had to be a certain age to start drinking it.
I don't think so. Well, I mean, you have to be old enough to go to Hogsmeade to order it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, because they never really explored like. At the Leaky Cauldron, like Hagrid never got a butterbeer for Harry at the Leaky Cauldron or anything, so I don't know.
But anyway, that's not my actual choice. Oh, you're not gonna like this.
Lemonade, please.
Oh my God, it should be. No, I've decided on fizzy lifting drink from Willy Wonka.
Okay.
Tell me your problems.
Tell me why.
Because it was the only one I could think of.
Because... to me, that's the most dangerous drink out there.
Oh, yeah, if you drink it in a massive tunnel that has a fan at the top
or if you drink it in the backyard.
Oh, don't drink it in the backyard then. Just drink it, like, in a house.
I guess.
And then you know what? I've encountered a problem. I've just realised.
You can't burp.
I can't burp!
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. That sounds like I set it up, but I didn't.
No.
Because I just remembered that you have to burp
as soon as you said on camera, I was like, oh, I know what it is.
You have to burp to go down. So actually, you know what? I can't do fizzy lifting.
It didn't even look that delicious, though.
Well, it's just because you get to fly. You know what? My other thought was like the milkshake from Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
So maybe I'll have to go with that.
$5 milkshake from Pulp Fiction?
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to. Because...
You didn't want to go with like Frobscottle from BFG, which makes
I haven't seen BFG.
You've seen half of BFG.
Yeah.
Did you never saw the animated film?
No.
Oh, okay, because like that's like a fizzy drink and it makes you fart a lot.
Yeah, see, that's what I'd have to do because that's how I get rid of the gas. So I fart instead of burping. So, but because I haven't seen it, I can't necessarily go.
I don't know. I don't know that fizzy lifting drinks couldn't be prevented by farting. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Because they have to get rid of the gas.
Yeah.
And I just don't think in the 70s they were like, let's get an old man farting on this boy.
Yeah, that's right.
They're like, we can't get Grandpa Joe farting. He's probably incontinent. Like, so you're going with...
The other option also is Skittlebrow from Harry Potter. Not Harry Potter, Simpsons.
Which is beer and Skittle.
Beer and Skittle. The only problem is that I don't like beer. I've had Skittlebrow once. It was fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
It was so fucking disgusting. I remember we were at a house party. This was very early on in our relationship. We were at a house party with our lit crew friends.
Yeah.
A group of friends that we made when we were at university. We called ourselves the lit crew because we all did literature together.
We're very, like, for a bunch of lit students, not very creative.
No.
And we were all on the arts.
I can't remember... It wasn't like we were friends with the person who was hosting the party. It was like we were friends with our friends and one of them knew the person who was hosting. So we were like second degree of separation or third degree of separation. And one of our friends was like, I'm going to drink Skittlebrow tonight. We're going to have Skittlebrow. And he bought the beers and he bought the packet of Skittles and he made it. And it looked like fucking vomit. And then he had some, and we were like, how is it? And he's like, yeah, it's fine. You want to try some? And I tried it, and it was the worst fucking thing ever.
I mean, you don't like beer, so it's really...
Well, yeah. But even so...
You're not going for like a Flaming Homer?
I've had a Flaming Homer. I've had a Flaming Homer at Universal Studios.
Yeah, so not with cough syrup, just in case anyone's worried.
No. And it's really cool. The way that they do it at Universal Studios is they have this special cup, and the bottom of the cup, it's like in two separate parts. So the bottom of the cup has all of these perforated holes at the dividing part that divides it from the bottom section to the top section. And that's where they put the dry ice in. And then they pour the drink into the cup. And so all the dry ice comes out as you're drinking the drink, but you never actually drink the dry ice because it's in the separate little section and then the dry ice runs out and we've still got that cup. You know what? That's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with a Flaming Homer.
A Flaming Homer?
Yeah.
Side note, when we went to Universal Studios, you've mentioned it a few times now, I bought a Simpsons donut, which is about the size of a bread plate. Like, it's quite large. Yeah. We came home to a hotel room. I ate the entire thing, and 5 minutes later, I fell asleep for the rest of the night.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
It had, like, toasted marshmallows and stuff, and I was just, like, out.
So what's your drink of choice, then?
My original thought was, I'd just like to take a flagon to the chocolate waterfall in Willy Wonka's factory. Pre-gloop, of course, before he's gone through the pipes, because that's not sanitary. Although, to be fair, like... I never thought the chocolate waterfall looked particularly nice in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
It's
just brown water.
It's just brown water.
The idea I like, and I can't remember Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with Johnny Depp. I can't remember what that looks like.
I think it's a lot richer.
Yeah. So that was my first thought, but I haven't gone with that. Instead, what I have gone with is something you just casually threw out for your drink, and that's the $5 milkshake from Pulp Fiction.
I knew it would be. All right, so why are you choosing that?
Well, first of all, like my go-to...
Does it even have a flavour?
I think it's vanilla.
Oh, God.
I can't remember, but it looks good. Like, it looks nice. Also, it's $5 American in the 90s, which is like actually probably about the price of a milkshake these days anyway.
Yeah.
First of all, it's my go-to drink whenever we go out for a meal. Like
That's right,
unless
milkshake.
unless we go out for dinner. But if we go out for breakfast or lunch, I'll often get
Imagine having a milkshake at dinner.
I mean, like
that's what we're doing here. That's what you're doing here.
Well, no, we're just having a meal. Like we haven't said it's dinner. This could be lunch.
Are you having a starter for lunch?
Yeah.
You're having a side dish for lunch?
I'm a hungry boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't normally do a milkshake for dinner. I would normally go with something of a soft drink variety. But for this, I was like the $5 milkshake. It's the one that makes the most sense. They don't say what flavors are available at Jack Rabbit Slims, but I'm sure they've got the basics. You know, chocolate, strawberry, vanilla. So I probably would lean for a chocolate one. Although the vanilla one looks great, so I would go for either flavor. To be honest, love Pulp Fiction. It wasn't my first Tarantino film, but it is a really great movie. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Quentin Tarantino and his not just his visual style, but also his music choices and his editing and things like that as well. And Pulp Fiction, although I think it's maybe mislabeled as his best film.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not a great film. I love it, but I just think, you know, that's his second movie.
Yes.
You know, and it was made in the 90s, and it's now, you know, 2022, and he's made 8 films since then or something, or 7 films since then. Like, you're going to improve on your craft. And that was more just kind of like a hodgepodge of stories and stuff like that. Very well done and very clever, but he's only gotten better over time.
What would you say is your favourite Tarantino movie?
My favourite is Kill Bill, both parts as one film. But if I had to choose, I'd probably lean towards part 1, even though the story is better in part 2. I think part 1 is visually more interesting and has some better fight scenes. But I would always include both parts as one movie. So Kill Bill is probably my favourite, but Inglourious Basterds is right up there. Like, those two are kind of neck and neck for me. And Inglourious Basterds, I think, is a tighter rewatch, because if I watch part 1 of Kill Bill, I'm going to watch part 2, and that goes for over 4 hours. But,
sorry to interrupt, but I've got a question for you.
Go for it.
Do you want your milkshake from Pulp Fiction to be made from the milk in the opening scene in Inglourious Basterds?
Oh,
that fresh milk.
From the French dairy farmer?
Yeah.
I mean, look, if I get to choose, like, why wouldn't I? That all sounds very lovely, actually. But yeah, but I do like Pulp Fiction. And I'm sure one episode we will do a deep dive on Tarantino.
I got another question for you.
Hit me with another question.
What's your least favourite Quentin Tarantino movie?
My least favourite Quentin Tarantino, that's a really good question.
Because I can tell you what mine is.
I think it's probably Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not a bad film.
I forgot that he did that.
It's not a bad film, but just for me, I think that it seemed to be a little bit without directional purpose.
Yeah.
Like, more often than not, I know what Tarantino's trying to achieve in his films. And I'm not saying that he didn't know what he was doing. Like, it's a very well-made film. It's very funny, engaging. The scene at the end with the can of dog food is nuts.
Yeah.
Everything about it is wonderful. But I just kind of... It felt a little bit more like it was kind of just, like, floating along. Like, it didn't seem to have any urgency to get anywhere. Whereas everything else... I don't know. I haven't thought about ranking them. Maybe that's something I'll do with someone at some point. Like, Kill Bill and Inglourious Basterds are up there. But I love Reservoir Dogs. I love Pulp Fiction. I love Jackie Brown. Jackie Brown is hugely underrated.
Jackie Brown's really good.
Really like Jackie Brown. Death Proof I really like. I think that was underrated as well. I don't think you've seen Death Proof.
I thought I had.
The one with the car.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have.
Oh, have you? I know I've seen Planet Terror, which is Robert Rodriguez. And then Django for a long time was my least favourite, but I rewatched it recently and I was wrong.
Yeah, it's really good.
And Hateful Eight I like as well.
I'm glad that you've come to that realisation about Django.
Yeah, I watched it at a time when I was in a really weird place where I was having a bit of an existential crisis about my own mortality. And like when that, just even the opening credits, I was like, well, those people have been dead for 100 years. And like, I was very morbid from the beginning. But no, I do really enjoy Django. And I really like Hateful Eight as well. I know it's long, but I think Hateful Eight's a really great film as well. I'm sure I'm missing something in there. Maybe not. Which is your least favourite?
Oh, it's Reservoir Dogs, without a doubt.
Really?
I could not finish it. It's so fucking boring.
No, it's not.
It is so boring.
It's not boring. It's just, it's old. It was made in 1992 on a shoestring budget, and his whole premise for that movie was, hey, it's a heist film, but we're taking the heist out. Man.
Yeah, why? That's the fun part. That's the good part. It's like going, hey, we're doing an alien invasion movie, but we're taking out the alien invasion. Hey, we're doing a Harry Potter movie, but we're taking away all the magic and Hogwarts. Hey, we're doing Back to the Future, but they never do any time travel. Like, what? You can't do a heist movie and then take out the heist.
No, because I do like Reservoir Dogs, and I will defend that. Like, I think it's a really interesting choice, and it was at a time where movies weren't necessarily getting stale, but like, if you look at a lot of 90s films, they all kind of look the same, and that sort of thing. But it was also limited by its budget, and he was a first time director and stuff like that. And I think that The Hateful Eight is actually, I don't know if other people feel this way. The Hateful Eight to me is a remake of Reservoir Dogs, except it's set in the 1800s instead of the present day, because it's very, very similar in terms of like, they don't know who they can trust, and who's the snitch, and who, everything else going on there. So Hateful Eight and Reservoir Dogs are actually very, very similar films.
Yeah. I will also agree with you that on Once Upon a Time in Mexico. But
Hollywood?
Oh yes, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
But I disliked it for different reasons. I absolutely agree with you that it just meanders and it doesn't know where it's going. But I also had no historical context about the
Manson murders.
The Manson murders and Woody Allen's. All I know about Woody Allen is like, he wanted to fuck his niece. Is that right?
Something like that.
Yeah. So that's the only piece of information that
Well, he's not in that. Sharon Tate's in it.
No, but wasn't that his wife?
No, Roman Polanski. Another sex creep from Hollywood.
Yeah, see, that's why I'm getting confused.
You're getting your sex creeps mixed up.
Yeah, I'm getting my pedophiles confused. But I said that, I knew that Charles Manson was a murderer.
Yeah.
But I didn't know the cult thing. I didn't know the cult of Charles Manson. I didn't even know where in America it was set, when in America it was set.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't until, literally the credits, and I turned to you and I said, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
And you had to explain the entire historical context to me. And I went, okay.
This is a spoiler for next week's episode, but I talked to your sister actually about watching movies. I said to her, I go, when you don't like a movie, do you make the sigh? And she goes, what are you talking about? I go, whenever Tina's lost interest in a movie, she doesn't like it, she sighs. And I heard that sigh a lot in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I like the movie enough. For me, it's like, it's the one that just kind of floats around and kind of meanders the most. It just feels the one with the least purpose.
Yeah. There's like a 20-minute scene where Brad Pitt drives to the hippie compound, does nothing, and then drives away. Yeah. All right, so now we've gotten onto the big one.
The dessert.
I'm so excited for this.
You're excited for dessert?
Oh, even though my entire meal so far has been dessert, pretty much.
You're like,
basically.
Crackers.
Yeah.
There's going to be an upset, there's going to be a cheese board in here?
No, there is no cheese board. All right, so first of all, I'm going to mention my honourable mentions. The first one is the chocolate cake from Matilda.
Okay.
That
Bruce Bogtrotter.
Bruce Bogtrotter. I almost called him Boris Bogtrotter.
Well, that's their prime minister.
Yeah. That Bruce Bogtrotter is forced to eat by the Trunchbull.
That scene put me off chocolate cake for a long time.
That scene did not for me. I was like, I want to be Bruce Bogtrotter. It looks so good.
Yeah, but you know how he finalizes his moment. Big old burp.
Yeah.
Yeah, you won't better get that burp out.
I won't need to. So that's one of my honourable mentions. And then my second honourable mention is actually quite the opposite. So, the chocolate cake is big, it's huge, it's rich, it's dense. The lotus flowers from Percy Jackson.
Okay, yeah.
So they go to Las Vegas.
Were they like little cupcakes or something? Or biscuits?
I don't know. Oh my God, James, I don't know what they were. They were like these little cakes in the shapes of lotus flowers, but the icing around them was a very thin, hard icing.
Mm.
So, like, it cracked as you chewed into it,
Mm.
and they
they
looked amazing. And the second that they bite into it, I go, oh, I want to eat that.
Maybe it's like a sugar shell or something?
Yeah. It's like some sort of sugary outside shell, but it's so fine and so thin. Like, the icing is really hard but thin, and so you cracks into it easily. And it looks amazing. And I mean, it has to, because they like the lotus flowers are what hypnotizes you to stay there. But they just look beautiful, and they're really like delicate and light. And I feel like I could eat 1 million of them.
I think they just announced a new Percy Jackson thing. I think they're doing a series now.
Oh, okay. Like a TV series.
Yeah, I remember reading something about it recently, because it's not the...
Really good movies.
I did not like them.
Really?
No, I remember both times I came out, I was like, okay.
Why didn't you like them? What was it about them that you didn't like?
Well, I hadn't read the books, and I think,
I haven't read the books either.
And I think it was just at a point where the YA genre was really being...
Oversold?
Yeah, like it was around the same time as Hunger Games. It was around the same time as Twilight and stuff like this. Like, we're not post Harry Potter at this point, but Harry Potter's been around for Maze Runner, like all these films, and I just never felt like there were many stakes in it. And like I was really excited to see Percy Jackson. I'm like, well, it's Christopher Columbus. Love those Harry Potter films that he did, so I'm sure I like this. And it was just like, I don't know, like Pierce Brosnan's a horseman.
It's a centaur. As if you don't know what that is.
No, I know he's a centaur, but like, it just felt... I think it also felt very rushed. There were things in it I did like. I liked the Medusa thing. Was it Uma Thurman who played Medusa? Mm-hmm. Like, that was cool casting. I like Alexandra Daddario. I think she's a great actress. She played, like, his friend. But then, like, he had another friend who was, like, a faun or something. Yeah. Like, I just... it felt like their magical world was literally just like, oh, you see those trees over there? Like, that's what the magical world is. And, like, it just didn't... Like, because it was like... It wasn't like Harry Potter where, like, the muggles... Like, wizards hide in plain sight, but they also have their own areas.
But that's exactly what it is.
But it didn't feel like that. It just kind of felt like they're like, oh... It's just like someone put, like, a laminate over our world. And I don't know, it just didn't feel like... It didn't feel like it had been plotted very well. It didn't feel like it had a grand scale to it. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. Just for me, it just didn't click. Was that also the one where they had the light 'em up song?
Possibly, yeah.
That might have been
the Fall Out Boy song.
Yeah, maybe the second one. And like again, it was like in this magical world, we're just climbing some ropes. Like they weren't doing anything magic.
That's training.
For what?
Because they have to train so that they can fight like the villains.
I guess. I don't know.
They're all demigods and they have to do sword fight training.
I think that's the thing. Like the way you feel about Thor Ragnarok's portrayal of Asgardians is kind of how I feel about the portrayal of Greek gods. Where I'm like, oh, it's just a couple of guys just behind those trees. It's ancient Greece. Like, it just didn't feel like it. Just I don't know. I felt like it felt very rushed.
Yeah.
And I feel that way with a lot of those YA movies. That they feel like they just very bland, very light in dialogue. I know that they're not made for me, so I'm not saying like be better for an adult audience. They are for young adults. But I think that just because it's a young adult film doesn't mean you can't try or, be better. Like, write something more intelligent and more engaging, and I don't know. It didn't work for me. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I haven't seen it in a long time, so maybe next time I watch it, I'll love it. But just for me, I don't know, just missed the mark. Anyway, so...
those are just my honourable mentions. That's not the actual dessert. So the actual dessert is pretty bloody amazing.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
Is it creme brulee from Amelie?
No.
I was certain it was going to be that.
Well, really? You know what? That could be an honourable mention.
Yeah.
Because that was what made me want creme brulee. Watching Amelie eat creme brulee and crack it. I was like, I'd never seen creme brulee before, heard of it before, nothing. And then I saw it in that movie.
I think the first creme brulee I ever had was one you made.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? No. My dessert is from a movie that I've loved ever since I was little. It is a movie that I have watched thousands of times and can watch 1,000 times again. I will never, ever, ever tire of this insanely long movie. And it's from The Great Race.
Okay.
It's the pie fight scene in The Great Race.
Okay.
Oh my god, that scene is so iconic. It's so perfect. It's like, I think it's I don't know if it's Guinness World Record, but it's definitely like the biggest food fight scene in Hollywood cinema ever.
What about Community? Dun, dun, dun,
No,
I don't like
no. And like the pies just look amazing. And there's like cream pies and there's blueberry pies. For those of you who don't know, there's a movie, because it's quite an old movie, so I'll just go over it quickly. It's a movie from the 1960s called The Great Race, and it's supposed to be like a classic 1800s melodrama. So you've got your bad villain, your bad guy, your villain. His name's Professor Fate. He has like, you know, a black top hat and a black cape and like twirly mustache.
It's kind of like Around the World in 80 Days meets Wacky Races.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And then you've got, you know, your hero as well. You've got your damsel in distress. So
Your
you've
Penelope
got all those,
Pit Stop.
Yeah, you got all those like classic characters, and the whole concept of it is that the great Leslie, who's the hero, he proposes a race from New York to Paris, and you know, the villain enters the race, and all chaos sort of ensues. It stars Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis and Natalie Wood.
Great cast.
And just a fantastic cast, absolutely fantastic cast.
I always think of in that movie when they're on the ice float.
Yes.
That's what I always immediately think of, even though it's probably like, again, like the food fight is either the most visually exciting part of that movie. I always think of that for some reason. It's a wonderful movie.
It's a wonderful movie. I watched that movie back when I used to teach a unit on melodrama. I would watch that movie 4 times a year to my students, because I'd have 2 classes of drama per semester, so I'd watch it 4 times a year, and I'd never get sick of it. And I did that unit for like 5 years, and I never get sick of that movie. Every single time it's on TV, I'm like, oh, okay. I put it on and I'll just watch the whole thing. And it's like a 3-hour movie. It's really long. There's an interval in the movie. Or maybe it's not 3 hours. It's definitely over 2 hours. But yeah, so they arrive to like this town, and there's a prince who looks exactly, spoiler alert, who looks exactly like Professor Fate. And he's about to have he's about to have his coronation. And so the bakers in the bakery are baking all the pies for all of, you know, the town to have as dessert for the coronation. And there's this huge cake, this massive cake. Anyway, the characters run into the bakery, they have an argument, and then a pie fight ensues. And the entire time, Leslie doesn't get hit with a single speck throughout the entire pie fight. And it's this huge mess. And then right at the end, he gets hit in the face with a pie. But one of the parts that I absolutely love is, I'm pretty sure it's the prince. I should know, I've seen the movie a million times. He runs in and he falls and he lands in the cake. But the cake, because it's such a massive cake, and it's all real food as well. It's like, it's not fake. He lands in it and it like collapses and it looks like it has sand. Like it's filled with, it's not sponge. It's like so fine. It just sort of like falls apart and it looks like sand. And I look at that and I go, I want to eat that. I want to eat that sand cake. And I want to eat all those pies. And I want pie shoved in my face, different flavors. Oh, it would be amazing. And the pie's like, the cream's really thick and whipped. Beautiful. Fantastic movie. Love this movie so much. It is just brilliant. Like, that's the movie that made me fall in love with Natalie Wood. She's brilliant in it.
Absolutely.
Like, the cinematography's great. Just the grand scale of it, because it's done in the 60s. And obviously things are done on, like, sound stages and stuff like that. But they just... It's got that air of grandness, like how... Maybe not on par with Ben-Hur or Cleopatra, but almost kind of thing. It's got that classic Hollywood grandness to it that you just really appreciate.
It's got
and
scope.
It's really fun. It's got scope, yes, thank you. And really funny. Like, really, really funny. So, yeah. Great race. Pie fight is my dessert.
So you're just eating all the pies? Is that the idea?
I will eat any pie that's thrown in my face, and I want to land in that sand cake to find out what it's made of. And if it's not sand, then I'm going to eat it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's what.
What's your dessert?
It came to... this is the first thing I decided on. Now, I did have an honourable mention, and that was just a variety of cakes and ice creams from Hot Fuzz. Mainly because I just...
Oh, like the cornettos?
Well, that and the fact that, like, every time Danny does something wrong, he has to buy a cake.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I just need to mention Hot Fuzz in here somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, because it's one of my favourite movies of all time. And all the cakes and ice cream they have always look really good in that. But no, my choice for dessert in my dream meal is Turkish Delight from Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe.
Ooh,
and now I'm not talking.
Good.
I'm not talking about the one from 2005 with Liam Neeson. I'm talking the one from the late 80s, early 90s, the BBC TV production of Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, with the White Queen. Is somehow looks scarier than Tilda Swinton. Like Tilda Swinton plays a terrifying way. This woman is much scarier. And what happens is that Edmund, the little git, comes into Narnia by himself after saying, and then lies about it so that Lucy is framed. They try to make
and befriends the evil character straight away.
Yeah, exactly. And the man dressed up as a wolf because they didn't have a very good budget. But he's sitting there in her sleigh or whatever, and he's giving her all these secrets, and all he needs, his payment is Turkish Delight. And she puts it this small, sterling silver container, and she lifts up the top, and it's this ornate box. And just some lightly powdered sugared Turkish Delights in there. It looks so good. And my theory behind this is if you sell out the entire kingdom of Narnia, Aslan, and your brother and sisters, this must be the best Turkish Delight in the world. Otherwise, this kid's a moron.
Yeah. And we're, just to also preface, we are fans of Turkish Delight as well. We love Turkish Delight.
Because I love Turkish Delight because of that movie.
Oh, really?
Before that movie, I hadn't had Turkish Delight, just with creme brulee. I remember vividly, I used to live on Church Street in Keilor, and it was on a hill. It wasn't too high. The hill was actually quite steep in Keilor, but I didn't live at the very top. I lived at kind of the first level or whatever. And my mum and I would walk down our driveway down Church Street and down the main road of Keilor to the library, because the library used to have VHSs. This is before we go to video store. We walked down there, and I would probably rent that video over and over and over again. I remember at a certain point after I said to him, I was like, is Turkish Delight real?
Yeah.
Because it looks really good. But I don't know if it's because I didn't have the language to express myself because I was 4 or 5 years old. But I was like, it looks good. But it's in a movie, so it might not be real. Is it real? And if so, can we have some?
Yeah.
And this is back in the day where Turkish Delight wasn't made by Cadbury; it was made by Fry's.
Yes.
And it didn't come in a
wrapper. It came in a little cardboard box.
As a cardboard slip.
Yep, that's right.
It didn't have closed edges. It was just 2 sides and then open ended.
Like a Mix Max, like the piece of cardboard that's in a Mix Max.
And then wrapped in foiled paper.
That's
but
right.
It wasn't sealed. You could just unwrap it and it was there.
But that's the chocolate coated Turkish Delight. That's not the icing sugar Turkish Delight.
No, I know, but I know that till years later.
Yeah.
But that was the first one that I had, and I remember I used to get one on the way to soccer every Sunday, and I'd just smell the wrapper.
Oh my god, I have a story as well.
Because the wrapper was so good. And now they have since... There's never been a Turkish Delight to me as good as that one.
Yeah, I know, right?
Even though I know it's not the Lion, the Witch and Wardrobe one, that was the best one. However, it's come close. A couple of years ago, well actually over a decade ago now, when you worked at IGA, there was a Turkish Delight brand that made chocolate coated Turkish Delight, and that was pretty close. And also, if you get the Cadbury Turkish Delight from the UK,
yes,
it's thicker and it's more jelly, and it tastes very similar.
That's because it's Fry's. It's not Cadbury's. That's Fry's.
It's still Fry's is owned by Cadbury.
Yeah. But they I don't think they changed it. Whereas in
no,
Australia,
it's not quite as good, but it's pretty close.
Yeah.
That being said, the powdered sugar one is one of the movie, and I do like the powdered sugar one quite a bit as well. I've even made it myself in the past, not very well, but I gave it a go.
No, it was good. I liked it. My Turkish Delight story, I know this has got nothing to do with movies. My Turkish Delight story, because I just have to tell it, because it is so similar to yours. My brother's godmother lived in Laylaw, and so whenever we would visit her, it was a really, 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 really long trip, right? So we'd go and we'd visit her, and we would, be sitting around having tea or coffee. And I was the youngest of the family. I was the only one that was my age, so I was always bored shitless. So I just, wander around in the backyard and all this kind of stuff like that. And her husband, every single time we visited, every single time, he'd go, "Tina, come here." And he'd bring me to the garage, his little workshop, and he had I think it was like a box. And he goes, "Open that box." And I'd open it, and there'd be a Fry's Turkish Delight inside. And he goes, "You can have that." And it was every single time I visited. So nice. I always knew I was going to get one. And it was the first time I'd ever had it. And he goes, "You can have that. That's for you." And I took it, and oh my God, exactly what you said. It was thick Turkish Delight. The cardboard box, I would spend the rest of the trip sniffing that cardboard box. Yeah. Because it was just like heaven. Because when you finished it, you don't have it anymore. And you can't ask for another one. Yeah. You're not a greedy guts like Edmund is.
Yeah, little jerk.
So you just sit there and you just sniff that cardboard. And it was so good. And I got that every single time. And he's since passed away, which is quite sad. But that's my memory of him. And it's just, I think that's a beautiful memory. I think that's really, really nice to just go, that was a little point in my childhood that maybe didn't mean heaps to him, but it meant a lot to me. And that has stuck with me my whole life. I'll think about those moments all the time. Almost any time that I have a Turkish Delight.
I know there are many people listening to us been like, "You like Turkish Delight?"
Yeah.
Because for some reason
it sucks. It's disgusting.
It's got such a stigma, but
yeah, I don't know why.
It's because it's aromatic. It's true. It's like licorice. A lot of people don't like licorice as a kid. I love licorice.
Elizabeth hates licorice. Yeah, she can't stand it.
But
we're a Turkish Delight family.
I remember when I was in the office recently at work, and one of the ladies at work had a thing of jelly beans. And she was like, "You don't have to like jelly beans, do you?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I love them." She's like, "Can you please take them away from me?" And so I ended up with half a bag of jelly beans. Nice. And just working my way through them. So that's my menu. I'll read back my menu to you, and then you can read back your menu to me. So what I'm having today for my meal is, for water, I'm having sparkling with a dash of lemon juice. Papadoms of bread, I'm having the crusty bread from Beauty and the Beast, the 2017 remake. My entree is a cheese pizza from Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Yes.
You could also have the pizza in Back to the Future that takes 3 seconds to heat up in the microwave. But it doesn't look as good.
And it's
but
microwaved.
I just remembered that. Yeah.
My main course, shawarma from the Avengers. My side dish, French fries from Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. My drink is a $5 milkshake from Pulp Fiction. And my dessert is Turkish Delight from Lion, Witch in the Wardrobe, the BBC production, not the movie with Liam Neeson.
Yeah. I'm going to go back through my menu. I'm getting still tap water with some lemon in it. My bread is the bread maker bread from The Simpsons. My starter is whatever I'd like to choose off the trolley in the Hogwarts Express. My main is the Halloween feast from Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. My side dish is Mushu's porridge breakfast that he makes Mulan in the movie Mulan. My drink, what did we end up landing on for my drink?
You were going to have fizzy lifting drinks, but you were going to fart them out.
Oh, we did decide that?
I think that's what you decided. It was that or...
I can't remember.
You didn't want to have... You said maybe the $5 milkshake. You said maybe Frobscottle, but you hadn't seen the movie. And there's something else, but I can't remember
can't remember. But also, as we've been talking, I also thought to myself I could have the futuristic Pepsi from Back to the Future 2. So, you know what? I know I didn't even mention that. I'm mentioning
Pepsi
it
Future,
now.
yep.
So I'm going to get that. I'm going to get Future Pepsi. My dessert is the pies smashed into my face and landing in a giant cake from the movie The Great Race.
That may or may not be made of sand.
That may or may not be made of sand. That's exactly right.
Your menu is just sugar.
Yeah.
But it sounds great.
That's my dream menu.
I guess that makes sense.
Yep.
Nice one. Well, that is going to wrap up our menu.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much going to end the episode. Do you have anything you need to plug? Are you still working on a blog that you want people to read? Or?
Yes, I still am. I haven't posted in a while, but I have half a post written so far. I just need to finish it. But that is the Feminist Mum blog on Instagram. So it's at Feminist Mum Blog, and you can follow me if you like feminism and if you like mums.
That's mum with a U, not an O, for our international listeners.
It's not feminist mom, it's feminist mum.
Mum. Excellent. You can follow me on Instagram as well. I was a teenage film snob, underscores between each word because Instagram was picky. If you like the show, please give it a review. Give it 5 stars if you like and write something nice about it. Apparently that helps with listeners. That's it for this week's episode. We'll be back next week. I have Tina's sister on next week. And Tina will be back in the future as well to finally talk about her top 5 favourite movies.
Yes.
We've hit 10 and we're still running along, which is lovely. Thank you very much for listening to the show. As we say every single week, I was a teenage film snob, but I'm trying to be better. See you next time.